You're not gonna reach for your cup
No, that's way too
because you
dangerous.
can't.
I mean,
Because you can't.
if I had my coffee within range on the camera, I totally could, but that is a dangerous game. That is the most dangerous game. It's not man, it's coffee while you're in virtual reality. Coffee in real reality versus when you're in virtual reality. When your only reference is focusing on you, yeah, no, I'm not reaching for that coffee. That's a dangerous coffee. That is Final Destination coffee. So, fun fact: when I was setting up the SSD, I have a TV tray over to my right that I gotta like walk past in order to get to the back of my computer, and I put my
Right.
coffee there, and I looked at it, and I shit you not, it I started to get Final Destination vibes. Like it started black letterboxing on it, like it was gonna do something later on that would fucking ruin my night. And so I just kind of looked at my wife. I'm like, can you hold on to this? For some reason, something's going on here. I'm getting triggered, and she moved over. And then about 10 minutes later, I nearly knocked the tray over. I'm like, oh, that's what was gonna happen. All right, let's see. Gonna check my audio levels. Audio levels sound mostly good. Let's see. I'm gonna lower this just a little bit there, make my sound a little bit more normal. I am going to lower my bass a little bit because I don't need that much bass in my life. No, sir. There we go. Oh, yeah.
But you know that bass, no trim.
Okay, so basically, I don't know where the show notes are. They're somewhere around here. I got you right here in this nice big screen right here. And then all the way over here, I have the chat, which is probably going to be empty, but I have to have it there. That way I don't have yahoos like you chew me out for not responding to chat. To be fair, though, you were dead last week, and I'm sorry. I'm glad you came back.
Oh yeah, we're probably gonna have to cover that. How did you say I died?
You discovered a nest of rats and they overran you.
I
I okay, fair enough.
I mean there are worse ways to die, so that's fine.
Should I ask or
I don't know, I'm just assuming there are worse ways to die.
okay? That's fair. That's fair. Let's see.
Yo, what it do, chat?
I do have one slight concern here. I feel like the tracking on this thing is slowly going off, and I'm gonna have to slowly but surely turn my head over here to keep track with the screen before I have to give up.
Imagine recording a podcast in VR, dude.
I'll fucking live in it, man. Let's see. I'm gonna do one last thing real quick. I'm gonna move my the VR program over here. That way I can mess with it in real time. Okay.
Reset tracking. Reset tracking.
I'm trying. Yeah, ain't having it. Okay. That cool. Okay, let's do this.
Oh, it says I'm hosting. Sick.
Yeah. Oh, you thought it was me? Yeah, you. No, I actually technically I didn't host last week. Brandon did because he took over the podcast.
Oof.
Oof. Yeah. Yep. The super casual Goon Master Squad Quest.
Not a bad name.
Yeah, it was good for a once a year tradition.
For whatever reason, this new lighting makes my beard look even more gruff
What?
than
I would
usual.
say black. I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty dark beard. How so rough though?
I said gruff, like it just looks a little bit more like untamed. But that's also because I just rolled straight out of bed and into this chair.
Fair enough. Are you ready, Nick? Or are you procrastinating? What's going on here?
I'm ready. Are you ready? I was was just wondering if you had your show notes and shit all good.
Yeah, I think I can work with this.
Think you can work with it, or or you're okay.
This is going to be wild. Check in
Welcome
on me at
to
the
Wild
hour
Wild
mark.
West. All right,
Don't they,
1 hour.
don't they say you get like nauseous or something like after 20 minutes of this?
I have no idea. I've never used VR.
Let's fucking find out.
All right, are you ready?
No. Yeah, let's do this.
Hello, and welcome to Casual Master Quest episode 46. I'm your host for the episode, Nick. Hello, Tyler. Pleased to meet you.
Hello, Nick. It is my pleasure to meet you too. I am VRBot. Are you ready to assimilate? I mean, calibrate?
I am ready to calibrate. Calibrating. Calibrating.
Get her.
Beep, boop, bap, beep, boop, bap.
Did you pass the I'm a robot test?
I believe so. That captcha always bothers me. Sometimes I'll pass it, sometimes I won't. I hate the one that keeps saying keep clicking on the thing until there's no more of the thing to click on, and
yeah,
then
click
it'll
on the
just
picture that has a car in it. It's like that one has
no,
like
well,
a
well, no,
car.
those are fine because it just asks you to select the boxes. But then there's the ones like it'll show you the 9 pictures. All right, select the squares on with the ducks in it until there are no more ducks. So when you click on the one that has a duck, it'll disappear, and then another one will replace it. Right, so you have to keep going until there's no more ducks in the fucking pictures,
And then it
those
turns
bother
into
me.
fun.
Yeah, no, that bothers me.
No? That's sad. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Hi, Tyler.
Hi. Hey, I'm doing.
It's been 2 weeks, Tyler.
Yeah, I missed you too, buddy. I missed you so much that I wanted to get closer to you in a way that I didn't think possible until about 8.5 hours ago, baby. Holy
All
shit,
right,
what is happening?
So for reference for audio listeners, A, you're making a mistake by sitting out on the YouTube live recording. B, Tyler is currently recording this episode in VR, so he can see me on his PSVR headset. He has hooked it up to his PC, and it is like talking to RoboCop, but not RoboCop.
Oh, like when you're looking at me?
Yeah.
Prepare to take your parking ticket, villain. Yeah, right now it pretty much looks like I'm in a super dark room, and for some reason I have my TV about 3 inches away from my face, which do you call that virtual reality? I think so, and it looks very nice. I mean, the PSVR headset in general doesn't have the nicest quality compared to that of the Vive or the Oculus, but it's pretty far up there, and this is weird. I just for reference, I am using a interesting program. It's called sorry, I realize if I look away from the mic, it gets a little quieter. It's called Trinus, TRINUS. Trinus PSVR. Right now, I'm using that as a program to not only be able to hook up my PSVR headset to the computer, I'm using it full on as a virtual reality system right now. And apparently, it's also compatible with a lot of Steam VR games. For example, I was able to fire it up and I was able to connect it through Steam VR. So I was able to access that, and that's pretty sweet. I have yet to try it on any games. I have so far watched a lot of videos and enjoyed it.
What? Oh yeah. What kind of videos, Tyler? Do you wanna tell us about those videos that you've been watching?
Absolutely, Nick. The latest one I got to watch was actually by you. It was called Yu-Gi-Oh! Virtual Reality.
Okay, Tyler. Let's talk about the videos you watched last night.
Oh, okay. You see, what Nick just tried to do there is throw a spear, and I tried matrix dodging it, but then he threw another one, a smaller one that I didn't see in time. It just slapped me right in the nuts.
She said.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Slapping the nuts with the second spear. Mm. Hey, if you ever play D&D, things can happen. So I did test out virtual reality porn,
Right.
which was an experience.
Which is a must, I think.
Yeah, it feels like it had to happen. Now, I unfortunately didn't get to interact with it, I guess would be the proper term. I just wanted to see it for the science at this point, because I knew
Sure.
if there was going to be one place that offered me a free source of virtual reality videos, it was going to be, my friendly local porn store. And so I got to see that. That was pretty wild. A couple of things that I had some issues with, and I'm currently having, is naturally the PSVR has the worst tracking of the three, because it doesn't have any reference right now specifically. It's just looking and using the gyroscope, which is doing great. But a big problem with the PSVR, like over time, people talked about this, hooking up to the PlayStation 4, is sometimes the tracking slowly starts to go off to the left or right, and you gotta,
it starts to drift. Yeah,
you gotta recalibrate it. And so right now, I'm looking forward, and my screen is, in the past 15-20 minutes I've been using this proper, is way over here, and eventually I'm gonna have to either snap my neck or just close my eyes, because this will go kaput, and that's no good. Hey.
Right.
Anyways, beyond that, I could use the tracking with my camera and all that stuff, but that's experimental at the moment. And the program did cost about $20. So, I don't, if you want to give it a shot, it's like, oh, my PSVR could actually be used for something else besides, PlayStation 4. That is the way to go.
That's not a bad price for the program. How much is the PSVR?
Nick, when I bought it was like $400. I think it's dropped down to around $300 at this point.
Right.
And
I believe I've talked about this on the show. I'm not the biggest fan of VR. Oh well, because I haven't tried it. I don't like change. And also I don't think VR is super accessible yet. And until it is, I don't think it can evolve to beyond a gimmick.
Yeah. That is fair. Now, there's been a couple of games that I'd like to say was fantastic.
Right.
For example, Beat Saber, Job Simulator to an extent. But thankfully, it sounds like this is the year that Sony's going to be pushing hard with a lot of VR games, with their State of Play being announced last week. Almost chock full of VR.
Right.
In terms of Iron Man, that's all I remember. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy VR. There is quite a few of them out, but
and we'll be talking more about VR during the show. But before we get into the IRL stuff, there is something we must address, Tyler. I died last week.
You died last week.
Yeah. It was a horrifying experience.
I'm so sorry. I prayed for you. I give you my thoughts and prayers.
So basically, as we were moving out, I stumbled into a nest of very violent, vicious rats, and they had their way with me. They were able to immobilize me, capture me, and they tore me down piece by piece. But in all seriousness, while we were moving, while me and my roommate were busy packing and cleaning up stuff, getting ready for the move, we found a little surprise in one of his suitcases in his closet, because my roommate's room got hit with the mice the hardest.
Damn.
And so there was one suitcase that he stored in there ages ago, that had a tiny little hole left in with the zippers.
Jesus.
And so as he opened the suitcase to go through it, because it was a bunch of old winter clothing, he found a mouse, a live mouse.
At the
tiny
new
little
house?
thing. No, at the old place. This is while we were cleaning up and still getting ready. I didn't have a chance to talk about this because it hadn't happened yet, right? And I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, worried for a second.
And so he opened up the suitcase, found a little mouse. He screamed, because mice are not particularly terrifying, but in a case where it's wild mice and there's a bunch of them, there is a chance for disease.
Yes.
And it's just scary having something like that unexpected happen. So as I went into his room to help him deal with it, and we were able to as we were sorting through the clothes looking for the one mouse, two more popped up from like the bottom of the suitcase. As we were emptying out the clothes from the suitcase, the one mouse that we saw at the start managed to get away and was running free in the house. But we were able to close up the suitcase, take it to the balcony, and then just let gravity do the work by overturning the suitcase over the side of our balcony. Mind you, I'm not one to sit and do intentional harm to animals, but we were on the first floor, so it's not like they were gonna get in any serious injuries. And
We said grass, right, versus concrete, because that could be bad.
Sorry?
Like, did you throw them into the grass off the balcony, or did you not look down to check?
No, we didn't look down to check, because as we opened it up to try and get the two other mice to get out, three more popped up. And so there's a total of 6 in that little suitcase. And so at that point, we were just more concerned about the fact that management hadn't done anything for 6 months. And we just wanted to get done and leave this hellhole. So, yeah.
I totally respect that. Also, Axel Bullet 019, aka my one of my other friends, Nick, actually the person who borrowed my headset up until about a few weeks ago. He would like to note that this looks ridiculous.
Well, that's the point, right?
I mean, it might. VR headset looks ridiculous.
Fool! You might think it looks ridiculous, but you have not experienced the power that he has.
I mean, this is amazing. I'm sitting here in an IMAX theater talking with my friend recording a podcast. Okay, maybe not IMAX theater, like a normal Dolby sound theater. Like the sound on this is amazing.
Right.
No echo. No echo. Huh. I wonder why.
All right. So aside from the VR stuff, Tyler, how's your week been? How's things been since we last did this together?
So, a couple of things that happened.
Right.
I made a small financial venture with my wife, and we decided that we were going to drop $2,200 for a nice new bed.
Okay.
So as it turns out, doing belly flops and pile drivers on the old mattress was actually doing damage to it, and the spring started sagging and stuff. I know, right? It's like,
who would have thought?
If I can't do the tombstone on my wife, then what's the point of having a bed? And so there's a point to where her back started hurting. One of us started like slinking in the center off to like we're gonna fall off because we're being slid off, and that's no good.
No, nobody wants that.
And so we went over to our local mattress store. We had a couple. We looked at one. We tested ourselves on a like a diagnostic bed, if you will. And the guy was trying to be nice as shit about it, but he was like, "Hey, you see all these spots where it shows your body, and it shows my wife in like green, yellow, orange, and then you see like my ass at like super dark red, and my back is super dark red." It's like, yeah. I think you might need a firm mattress. And he's trying so hard to say, hey, you're fat as shit. You need to get a firm mattress. And it's like,
right.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you. I was about to name him, but I probably shouldn't. Kyle. I'm just gonna say Kyle. Kyle did a great job. He did a fantastic job. And so we tried a bunch of mattresses. We found this nice one. We couldn't see prices. They were hidden. They hide them until they're ready. Like we're saying, we like this one. He's like, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna play The Price Is Really High. And he flips. He flips the tag, and it's like $3,000. Yeah, $3,000. And like, oh, I just wanted to put like $1,200 down at the most. $3,000, and he's like, actually, today's your lucky day. And I got really suspicious really quick here, Nick, when he said shit like that, because that's like Used Cars Man slogan right there. He's like, this one's actually the cheapest right now because it's 33% off, or it has the biggest deal going on. So it's only about $2,175. And it's like, And I look at my wife, and my wife looks at me, and I realize that I'm about to own a bed that's more expensive than my car. And that is just bewildering, Nick.
Well, I mean, as bewildering as it is, I was actually talking to somebody about this a few days ago, where if we've never understood the point of putting money into like a supercar,
Yeah,
especially if you don't really have the money and you're just trying to put up like a lifestyle just for appearance's sake. Rather put that money into something that'll directly impact the quality of your life, such as betting. Like if I had money, I would be buying 1,000 thread count fucking sheets all week, or
hell
not all
yeah,
week,
brother.
but you know what I mean. Like yeah, like pillows, mattresses, bedding, all of this actually improves your quality of life, your sleep. So I don't think that's a bad purchase.
So I when my old bed used to be a normal spring mattress, and then it would have a pillow top cover over the top of it, and so we would get like the super soft trying to sleep in a cloud feeling. But the problem with that is, the springs were going the hell and back,
Right,
and it was not helping us keep our posture at night, which was messing with our bodies in general, pulling
right,
muscles, pushing spots in the back, and I could be wrong on this, but judging by the way he was trying to describe it to me, if you are a lighter person who has proper posture, the softer the better, in terms of the bed. But if you're having trouble sleeping, the firmer the better. And it's like I thought I was gonna get like a memory foam mattress and just lay down on it and just sink in, and then I'm gonna sleep like a child on Nyquil or something like that.
right.
Nyquil, thank you. Me. So yeah, this mattress is, I guess, half spring, half memory foam ish on the top, and it is firm as shit despite the memory foam. First night I pulled the muscle in the back, but I think that's because I wasn't used to sleeping on a board with cloth on top of it.
Right.
Second night slept fantastic, so I am banking on the idea that this is going to be a good venture. I hope so. Beyond that, I'm not sure if I talked about it on the podcast last week, but you weren't here. I hooked up my second solid state drive. Or at least I rehooked it up. Apparently it was already hooked up to my computer, but computers sometimes don't instantly recognize hard drives or stuff connected in a way to where you can use it instantly. So I had to go to it and assign it a disk drive number or a letter.
Right.
And after that, I had 500. Nick here knows that sometimes I'll have trouble with podcasts because I'll be running low in space and all the temporary files consumes a lot of gigabytes.
Mm-hmm.
And holy shit, having 500 gigabytes to mess with was so nice. I started downloading Steam games like a motherfucker. Games I probably won't even play. Hell, if I had Near Automata on the PC, I might have installed that too. But thankfully I don't have that. I don't even think it's out on PC. I'm pretty sure it's PS4 only. Where
No,
it
it's
should
out
be.
on PC. What do you mean?
Oh,
It's out on
okay.
PC and Xbox.
Oh, I can't tell if you're trolling me or not.
No, I'm not. Game of the Year edition came out on Xbox last year.
Oh, did it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, sometime in October or November. I think we covered it on the show, Tyler.
Sure, I believe you. It sucks because you got some things like Hellblade: Sinuous Sacrifice, where it's like, I wish this goes on everything you can find so people can enjoy it. But then you got fucking games that are like The Plague, which is Near Automata, where it's like, oh fuck, now these people are going to experience it, and hopefully they like it. But honestly, I hope you get it for $10. Otherwise, you're screwing yourself over. But yeah, that's been my week, Nick. What about you?
Well, obviously I wasn't here because I died, but also because I was moving. Um,
Resurrection's a bitch. Coming back from the dead is no easy task. Did you take your one long rest before you get out of your fatigue?
yeah, I had to sacrifice 72 virgins, 6 goats, and one
What
bonsai
the
tree.
fuck? That was not in the the description of the spellcast, but
Well, because somebody forgot to read the fine print, so
yeah, if
it
there's one
happens.
thing I'm very good at ignoring the fun. Who reads the term of service when you're installing something like resurrection? Come on, people.
Well, it matters when you have to go find 72 virgins. But anyways, moving on. I don't want to drone about that. Um, the move was challenging. We started at 9 in the morning on a Sunday, and we finished at 2 a.m. on a Monday. because I had friends to help us finish up the final bit of packing and load up onto the truck. But then beyond that, it was just me and my roommate, and we have a lot of things. So we did the thing where there's a company that provides plastic moving boxes for a fee for like a week,
Okay.
and they'll deliver to your current place, and then they'll pick it up from your new place. And so these boxes, they're pretty durable, but they get really heavy, and we just filled them with all of our crap.
Oh man,
And
you
so
do the thing where it's like, if there's space, it got to fit, and you just
pretty much,
ignore
pretty
the possibility
much.
of things might getting heavy.
And so getting things off the truck was a challenge. So it's a basement suite, right? So if you're looking at the front of the house, you go along the right side. There's a little fence, and then you go down a little slope, and then you go down a few sets of stairs, and then there's our front door. And so to save time, we moved everything off the truck that was parked in the driveway, to down the little slope right above the steps. And at that point, we were exhausted, and then we went to IKEA for a little bit, got a few things, came back, and we said, fuck it, we're not going to do this. And so we didn't do it until about 10 p.m. at night. We're like, fuck it, let's just do it, get it over with. So we did it, and then we were dead the next day. And then I spent all of that night setting up my room so that I'd be able to get back to schoolwork immediately, get back to doing this immediately. I was smart enough to book an appointment with my ISP early on, so the next day I had internet again. Um,
Good
it was
deal.
just it was just challenging, but I would argue like 70% of our place is set up now. Like we got rid of a lot of things. We got rid of a lot of furniture. So it's gonna take some time to fully settle in, but my room is all set. Um,
I mean, you're
yeah.
kind of breaking my heart here. I don't get to see that poster anymore.
Which poster?
It was like
Oh,
red and
these
bluish.
nuts.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was time.
You got rid of it?
Yeah, I got rid of it. Just tore it off the wall, and yeah.
Nick, I would have happily took it back with me back here this to the States.
Well, no, like I had to get it off the wall, and the moment I tried to get it off the wall, it tore. I'm like, well, there goes that.
Oh no. It looks
Yeah.
like we'll have to redecorate.
Oh yeah, that's the plan. So the audio listeners can't see it, but this wall behind me is completely blank. I do have my little bookshelf thing set up where I do have my pops and some school supplies. But there's a whole wall behind me that's completely blank, and I want to get it set up. Um, in terms of
So
things getting damaged during the move, we only lost maybe two cups and two plates.
that's
Um,
not too bad.
and and a painting got destroyed
Ooh.
because a box fell on the painting,
Ooh.
and I was upset because it was grouped with other paintings, and one of them was my sister's. Fortunately, my sister's painting wasn't damaged at all. The other
That
painting
is scary shit.
I really liked, and I got it for 30 euros on a trip to Germany that I took a few years ago. And it was a painting, this beautiful old painting of a lone monk standing on like a rocky shore, like seashore, and there's like waves crashing, and you can see like it blends really nice into the horizon. And it makes me really sad, but at least it wasn't my sister's painting because that would have made me super sad.
That is very important. There is one painting I have in the house now that I got about a year and a half ago. It is, I believe, somewhere around 90 years old. It
Right.
is probably like a 4 foot wide, 3 foot high mural of a mountain village. And the reason why I have it specifically is because my great grandmother had it ever since I was born, much longer than that, in fact. And so when my great grandmother had to sell the house, they were going to toss the painting, and now I have that in the house. And I would be broken if that painting were to be destroyed because that
Right.
represents my, that is the last piece of old family home that is now, in some rich young couple's hands, I guess.
Right. Yeah. With my sister's painting, I went. This is when I went back home, maybe 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. Um, a few days before I left because she paints with acrylic paint, so it takes time for paintings to dry. I think it was like 3 days before I left. I'm like, "All right, paint me something," and she's like, "What? I'm not gonna have enough time." I'm like, "All right, just paint me something," and she did. And I don't know if I've ever posted a picture on social media, and maybe I will after this. But it's one of the favorite things that I have in my possession. I got it framed. I never put it up at the old place because I knew we were going to move at some point, and I didn't want to waste such a beautiful thing on those shitty walls. Um, but that's moving. We're all set up. Everything went well. In terms of
If I could
school, Yes.
ask, how much retail space do you think you have between your shelf there and whatever's to your left?
So actually quite a lot.
Okay, so you got a lot. Like, do you think?
Yeah, and that chest of drawers is going to be going.
What the
I thought
fuck
I
is that?
needed it.
Is that a muddy Pikachu?
Oh,
Don't you want to throw that through the washer?
that's an EV, Tyler. You
Oh, I
goddamn
mean,
know very well that's an EV.
if you want to, let me turn my thumb the right way, clean it up and make it yellow and proper like that Pikachu back there, then maybe you'll have some good taste. But I respect your decision. If you want to have a
Pikachu can't learn any fighting moves. Eevee can learn dig. Eevee can kick Pikachu's ass.
Pikachu learns, I believe, double kick in Hey You Pikachu. Yeah,
We're not talking about Hey You Pikachu. We're talking about the core RPG.
isn't this
I've also
what the
never
whole
played Hey You
fight is?
Pikachu.
Hey You Pikachu and Hey You Eevee? Or Let's Go Pikachu. Sorry.
Oh, let's go. Can Pikachu learn double kick and let's go?
For some reason they since they wanted Pikachu to be profitable in use against like rock, they let it learn a fighting move. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Oops.
It's weird, but you know, whatever. I mean, you'd think Iron Tail would do the trick, just let him learn Iron Tail early, but
yeah, that would make more sense. Especially it would also be more canon.
I mean, I'm trying to think how canon it would be versus you know the anime slash cartoon. I mean, it would be.
That's what I mean. Like in terms in relation to the anime, it would be a lot more canon because
Yes,
he uses Pikachu there uses Iron Tail a lot.
and that game is about as mainstream as it gets. So I would
Pretty
have to
much.
say that they'd probably follow the cartoon versus like the original Yellow game, which, okay. Anyways, you were saying though, I cut you off.
I was just gonna say like school's been getting busy. A lot of projects have concluded. I say school's been getting busy, but school's been busy since fucking March. I haven't really slept properly. If it's okay with you, Tyler, I'm gonna quickly just talk about one of my projects very briefly. In terms of if you go to emeraldhorizon.net, you'll be able to see the website that I created for this project and the 2 videos I made all on my own. Yes.
We'll slip a link in the show notes too.
Emerald Horizon. It is one of my. I put so much work into this, and there's so many things I could have done better, especially with the videos. But I'm not a cinematographer. I'm not a video editor, so I did the best I could with my limited knowledge, limited technical skills, because I had to do so much. But anyways, there's that. There's going to be a lot more pictures of all the other projects that's coming through over the next few weeks. I'm taking a foundations of game design course where we actually had to make several board games, or at least card games, physical games throughout the course. And we are now at our final showcase where we're getting our game properly printed, professionally printed by a company. I can't remember what they're called, but they're in Washington. In Vancouver, Washington.
That's so awesome, man.
And so we go pick it up next week. And we're gonna have a showcase with some high school students. They're gonna play test our game. I really hope it goes well. We love our game. We've seen everybody else in our class love our game. Our professor said we had probably the most the game that fit the criteria the best. And honestly, I think we might be able to take it to market, like start a Kickstarter and actually like sell this game. So we'll see.
Nice.
I don't want to say anything about the game yet until I have approval from our full team. But
you got my vote.
I appreciate that, Tyler.
Hey, I'm technically part of the marketing prototype team. Okay.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh yeah,
like,
we still have.
I get like 0.5 of the vote. 0.5%.
But yeah, so that's really exciting. That's happening because I'm just discovering more and more things that like in terms of like job roles that I fit in and that I enjoy being a part of. Like I've never thought of myself as being a game designer, but like thinking of game mechanics and how people can enjoy a card game, and taking inspiration from all the different card games that we played throughout the semester was really fun. So yeah, and then so that's been school. That was my move. I'm back here. We're doing an episode together again after 2 weeks. The last thing I did want to quickly touch on is I'm going to counseling again. I haven't been to counseling in about 1.5 years, 2 years almost, maybe. and just mentioning it, just not for any specific reason, just because I think it's important that people that it's normalized. Like this is a thing that people need sometimes, and if you need it, you should go talk to somebody.
Respectable.
But yeah. Oh, I didn't see this. I honestly didn't. Okay, I didn't see this section. I thought,
Ooh, yeah, the bombshell, huh?
yeah, I put that at the end because I didn't see that. I guess I must have missed it with how late the notes were last night. All right, are you ready to talk about this?
Sure. Yes, let's do this.
All right. So, what is the date right now? As of recording, as we're recording this, it is the 6th of April.
Okay, and oh, that's cool. Virtual reality calendar bring up. Oh, that's sweet. So
in 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks, on the dot, actually, April 27th. From April 27th to May 5th, I am going to be officially traveling over to Canada to go hang out with Nick for a week.
Oh, Canada.
I can say, you want to have a competition? Oh, say,
no, that's all I know. Let's not even start.
It's okay. I was going to forget the like 3 words after that. So yes, I end up successfully getting a passport for the US. I got all the criteria and everything filled out. I got plane tickets all set up. I'm slightly nervous because I don't know where I'm sleeping officially yet, because I don't know if I'll be sleeping on the floor or if I'll be, maybe I'll take Nick's bed. I don't know. Or we can share and we'll show you how casual this Master Quest can be. 2019 people, open your minds. Anyways, yes, I'm going to be heading over to Canada and we are going to be doing some fun shit.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. It's going to be right, like I finish school on the 23rd of April, and then I start on the 6th of May. So Tyler's here from the 27th to the 5th. So it's going to be a nice, fun time all around, I think.
This will be the first time I've entered Canada. Now, I do have an enhanced license, which means I could have went to Canada by land or sea. But since Nick is all the way over on the west coast of Canada, over in the Vancouver area, I wanted to fly versus the 30-40 hour drive.
Right.
And that required the passport. So not only is this going to be my first time in Canada, I'm probably going to be in I'd like to think the most hipster part of Canada I could possibly think of.
I think you'd be correct.
I mean, versus Toronto, maybe, I guess, but...
Well, Toronto's more lively. I think I would liken Toronto more to New York. Okay. In terms of, like, if you had to relate a place to another. Vancouver is very much like Seattle, Portland.
I was gonna say there's no close to fucking Seattle where, yeah, they get the heavy biosphere of vegan influence. Yeah, they're way too close. They're going to be affected. It's like Civ 5, where one city has can spread religion by being too close and have high influence. That's right. Seattle right there. It's like, do you really want to have cheese?
Well, I mean, it's not surprising considering the fact that we have a lot more Starbucks than Tim Hortons here.
Well, I mean, Tim Hortons is... Wait, Starbucks?
Tim Hortons was Canadian, right?
Yeah.
And then it got bought out by Burger King, but we have a lot more Starbucks here compared to Tim Hortons purely because of our proximity to Seattle, I think. At least that's my theory.
That's so weird. You'd think that Tim Hortons, like by law, would have to have more of them there.
You'd think, but then Starbucks being based in Seattle, starting there, I think, because we are also known as sister cities, Seattle and Vancouver. Considering how close our weather is, right? It's like 200 and something plus days of, according to the locals, miserable fucking rain throughout the year. I love the rain.
Yeah, that explains the whole. I do remember hearing about that through the Twilight book series. I believe that's where Edward. Squid. Can you imagine if Squidward was the vampire antagonist that Bella fell in love with? Bella, where's my Krabby Patty? Oh, Squidward, bite me now. What? Anyways, yes. Apparently, it's supposed to be super rainy and humid. Yep. It's the time over there.
Yeah. But it's gonna be a good time. We talked about it a little bit. Tyler, what are your main things that you want to get out of this trip?
Well, Nick got me heavily excited because I'll be showing up there on the 27th, and we'll be, I'll probably pass out from jet lag or something like that, and be ready for the 28th, which is Sunday. And holy shit, Nick! Avengers will be coming out on the 26th.
Oh, we're fucking going for the Avengers. I'm going to be booking tickets.
One of the first thing I want to do is go see fucking Endgame. 3 hours of hot, like.
All right, Tyler? How does Avengers Endgame in IMAX sound like? Like, does that sound like a good time?
If I could look at a trailer of it right now and just have it in my VR, I'm pretty sure I'd have a rough idea what to expect.
but yeah, we're gonna like that first night day after he arrives, we're going for Avengers. We're gonna be heading out and hitting the town some of the few nights. My roommate hopefully will be able to join us if he's not too busy with work. We're gonna be doing. I have a few creative plans for when Tyler's here. And I'm gonna let you all be surprised by that if they ever come to fruition.
Can I ask a single question?
Yes.
Will any of them threaten my marital sanctity?
That'll be down. That's your decision. That'll be down to a choice you'd have to make. I can't promise anything. It's nothing that'll be forced on you, Tyler.
Thank you. Okay, good. I don't know what the hookers are like in Vancouver.
And neither do I.
It's good looking, eh?
But yeah, no, it's gonna be a good time.
I'll make you Goonie. I'm sorry.
It's it's gonna be nice to be able to basically do nothing, and by nothing I mean not have to do schoolwork for about a week before I go back to school.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy that too. It's gonna be pretty nice.
The one thing I will tell you for sure is that Tyler will be sitting in a corner with a knife or some sort of weapon in his hand while I play Breath of the Wild, because he has to ensure that I at least touch that game while he's here.
I mean, I believe the discussion between you, Brandon, and I was you have to play like 4 or 5 hours every single night in order for you to beat the game. Case. And he also pointed out that you can beat the game in 5 minutes if you're that good, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go attack Ganon and just head up. I want to go explore the fucking world.
That is totally fair, and I respect that.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep you guys updated on what's gonna happen.
Breath of the Wild.
I will. Tyler,
when I'm there, when I'm there, would you actually play?
I mean, I'll play. Yeah.
You sounded really, really convincing.
All right, listen. I've been getting 4 hours of sleep consistently.
Look into my VR eyes, Nick. Look at the single unlit LED.
I've been getting 4 hours of sleep every night since March.
That could be 4 hours of Breath of the Wild, Nick. You are fucking up hard here.
I want to be able to enjoy the game during a time where I'm not constantly worried about when the next deadline is or when do I have to leave the house and go to a project meeting next. So I will get to it.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. One day.
So we will keep you updated over what's going to happen over the next few weeks, because if Tyler does arrive on the 27th, that is one of our recording days, and then he leaves the next Sunday, so that's another recording day. And I don't want to take a risk with having scuffed quality on my end because I only have the one mic set up. So we'll figure something out, and we'll make sure that we're not. These are episodes we're not skipping whatsoever.
You see, what we'll do is that we're going to get a double-sided rotating chair, and one of us will be near the mic. When the other is ready to speak, we'll use our legs and travel across the floor in a circle. Then it'll be the other person, and then I can just edit out all the silence in between. But I will leave in the wheel scuffling of as we rotate every single time. Or
wheel scuffling in like as a constant noise in the background.
That is also acceptable. I was going to say another thing we could do in that situation is we are constantly spinning, so we can only say like 3 words and we just try to complete each other's sentences for an hour and a half and see how that works. I'm okay.
All right, so that's that. Tyler's visiting. Is going to be in Vancouver soon. It's going to be a good time. And holy shit,
in Canada, anything is
possible. In traditional casual Master Quest style, we still haven't even gotten to the video games yet on a video game podcast.
No, we haven't. We kind of fucked up, didn't we?
Just a little bit, but that's okay because it's been a long time since we've been together.
Yes, I miss you too. We are going to make this our end game. This is going to be 3 hours long.
I can't do that because I have to leave for school in a few hours. But let's start off with Tyler. What have you been playing?
So, I would like to say I'm going to keep this short about the first game on the list here, but I will not. So, Ocarina of Time Randomizer. Let's have a little talk. For those who have been listening, they know that I've been really getting into the idea of playing Ocarina of Time with everything randomized, and it is fantastic. Now, there's been a couple of shortcomings that's been bugging me throughout the playthroughs. I have beaten it as of last week. I have done my first complete playthrough and completed it. However, I was really upset because I saw people playing it online in a quality that was much nicer than mine. And originally, I had thought, I realized that with the headset on, it presses into my nose, and I start to feel like I'm actually Squidward. Anyways, I see people streaming it, and it looks great compared to mine. I'm like, what the fuck? What am I doing wrong here? So I start jumping down a rabbit hole. I come into the wild conclusion that while I was playing the N64 1.0 version of Ocarina of Time, which is the very original version of Ocarina of Time, there were several updates later on that improved quality, censored some shit, and I thought they were playing the GameCube version that came out for either the Master Collection or the collector's edition or whatever it's called that has a bunch of Zelda games, or the Master Quest version that came out for the GameCube. And so I started going to a bunch of bullshit like how to convert a N64 file into a WAD for the Virtual Wii console and all that shit. And it was a horrible rabbit hole. As it turns out, I just needed to raise the graphic quality on the emulator. I was just playing on the lowest thing possible, and I just had to raise it up a little bit, and suddenly it looked fantastic, and I felt like a fool. And I had to learn Python to use the latest developer edition of the randomizer, so I could add cooler shit, such as randomized heart color. You can do entrance randomizer, where you could walk in one house and it's a different area. For example, I could walk into Saria's house in the Kokiri Woods, and it turns into the fucking fishing hole for some reason. And it's pretty wild. Deku Tree was the Shadow Temple. But yeah, I've been working on that. I got a GameCube controller, which I would show you, but I have no idea where it is because I'm in this horrible virtual landscape. And I've been giving it another shot. I'm going to try to see if I can beat it in under 8 hours. That's my main goal. Beat it under 8 hours. If I do that, then I'll consider it proficient. Not a pro, but proficient. After that, I played and beat Spider-Man. And I have a lot of feelings. Now, Nick, the reason why I ended up picking Spider-Man was because A, I had buyer's remorse with Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
And B, when I last hung out with my other friend, Nick, he showed me some Spider-Man. And like I got some firsthand experience with it, and it was so nice. I ended up making the jump. I saw it for $35. I was like, oh, $35, that's worth it. The 15 hours that I put in or so, I do not regret a single moment of it. There's times where it's like, oh man, this is gonna take a minute. But doing like stealthy missions where you're slowly trying to pick off bad guys and stick them to light posts and stuff, even the more time consuming stuff, I enjoyed. It was weird because Spider-Man is the first game in a very, very long time where I started doing collectibles. There's stuff in the mini map. Like I don't like doing side quests. I like to do the main story. Maybe if something's interesting, like a cool power up, I'll do that. This is the first time I was like, oh man, that's there on the map. I could just go there. Since Breath of the Wild, Nick, it was just I want to sit down right now, even after beating the game, just to keep playing, doing more stuff because there's so much excitement. The ending of that story, which I won't spoil, even though it's been 6 months or so.
Right.
It was a heartbreaker. Essentially, it definitely was designed to make you feel the cold, empty heart that was once in your chest. It beat once again. I fucking grinched over that thing. Like it was like, oh man, it was sad, but it also provides a lot of opportunity for future story, and I'm excited to either try the DLC or see what they have for Spider-Man 2. And lastly, I did kind of talk about this before, but just in case, with the GameCube controller, I decided to give Paper Mario a Thousand Year Door, which with the agreement of our former co-host Cam, is the best Paper Mario game for sure. And some reason when I said this full title to you originally, Nick, you were kind of scared by it. Like it threw you off. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, well, with the Mario game, not that Mario doesn't like the Mario universe has never had dark themes, but like in general, even the titles of their games or like the aesthetic style of their games have not been ominous or scary or spooky. But then seeing something like Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door, was like, holy shit, shit's got serious. Mario Ghostbuster now? What's going on?
I'm trying to think of like something with Mario in the name that was like not like happy-go-lucky kind of stuff. Mario Odyssey, no, I mean that's more explorative. You're like you're having fun. You're going to
Yeah,
sea
like
place.
even to me, a Nintendo pleb, like I know that Mario in general is not like a spooky, scary, doomsday aesthetic, and
Yeah,
so having like the Thousand Year Door in the name was like, holy shit, shit got serious.
like the closest thing I can think of is like Luigi's Mansion, but that's Luigi, and
And it's
uh
with a totally not so scary looking ghost.
true. Like I'm also thinking of stuff like Paper Jam, uh
Yeah, but Paper Jam's like funky, you know? It's like
Bowser's Inside Story. Yeah, they always try to go for like a little laugh versus like, oh shit, what up?
yeah, so that's why like this seemed just a little bit out of place in a lineup. Like it's something you'd pick out immediately.
And it is like the game itself is pretty out of the place because it has the I would like to think that it has the best script writing that any Paper Mario game has ever had. I don't know what the hell that they gave to the script writers, like cocaine, Red Bull, hopefully money. They did a damn good job, and it was the best that we have. I know, right? It's like Nintendo gives them industrial level glue to stuff, but it's like, will I at least get my $11 an hour? It's 15 minimum here, and they're like, we'll talk about it later. Sniff the glue, get writing. Like they provide them the necessities, but not the quality of life, man. I shouldn't say that. I will not slander Nintendo. None of that is true, but the way they say shit in this game, it's beautiful. I remember Paper Mario, the original one did okay. Super Paper Mario, the third game for the Wii, was mediocre with a couple of good moments here and there. But Thousand Year Door, the conversation in that, it's almost like 10 out of 10 every single time something's said. It's nice,
Right.
and I'm hoping to play more of it. But then I always get pulled into like Ocarina of Time or something like that. So we'll see what happens. What about you, Nick? What have you been playing, my man?
Right, but like before I talk about me, I know with the Legend of Zelda randomizers, I think I mentioned this maybe like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I was
Okay.
watching one of my streamer King Ithalian play. I believe it was A Link to the Past randomizer, and they were
Mm.
talking about and which fascinates me when they were talking about how the randomizers work, where you have a seed and each seed basically starts a puzzle in the game. Like, sure, everything has been randomized, all the locations have been randomized, but there is no there there. There is a path. There is a path, a logical path that you have to not maybe not logical, but there's a clear puzzle that you have to solve that will allow
No,
you to finish the game. It's not like you'll ever get stuck anywhere.
people who play this, the path, we call it just logic. Like we're trying to follow logic because, for example, in Ocarina of Time, if you get bonds in like one of your first chests, the game's logic or the randomizer's logic is trying to tell you that most likely the next piece of the puzzle that you'll need to get is something that you can use bombs for. It's kind of like
Right.
a bread trail of sorts. So what you're saying is completely within reason. You can set it up to where it's in a way to where there's no logic, which is very dangerous because it's potentially not completable, and that breaks it, man. You
Right.
definitely want to be able to complete it, and
Right.
so yeah, logic is nice.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating how that works, and I can definitely appreciate the I want to say like the art style that it is because honestly, as a whole, thinking of it as a puzzle and presenting it that way and playing it, that honestly seems like a um, just a very nice, engaging challenge. Um, Now, in terms
with
of
the
video games,
possibility of completing it too. I mean,
with the possibility of completing it, yeah, like it feels like an even bigger accomplishment on top of a game that you already love.
yes, like the idea that there is a program that can make thousands of different ways for you to enjoy. It's like a turning your game into a 1,000-piece virtual jigsaw puzzle.
Right, right.
And, yeah, it's amazing that they're able to do something like that.
So now with the games that I've been playing, I mean, I have my standards. I actually haven't, Tyler, I haven't touched Destiny in over 3 weeks now.
Oh man, are you finally going to break free? Is this your big break?
Probably not, but
Yeah.
it feels good for the moment.
Yes.
Like I have a break.
RuneScape or Sea of Thieves?
Um, um, I haven't
Ooh.
touched Destiny in a week, in a long time. Played a little bit of Overwatch with friends. Played a little bit of Wizards of Legend when I didn't have internet for a few hours and I couldn't sleep, so I just plugged in my controller and went at it. Um, but the biggest game I think over the last few weeks that's made the most impact on me is GTA 5.
Mm.
Now, I've never played a GTA game.
For sure, the cure, like that is the first step in D2A. Destiny 2
Destiny 2 avoid anonymous. Okay.
You're like, hi, I haven't touched Destiny 2 in 3 weeks, and then we're all supposed to go, collab.
Hi, my name is Nick, and I'm a Warlock main. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
So what's pulled me in is into GTA now is probably the same thing that's pulled a lot of people in, and that's the GTA role playing on Twitch. And it's Tyler, it's some of the most entertainment I've had in a long time in terms of pure viewer enjoyment. Because you have all these different characters. It's basically a TV show. But you get to watch the perspective of each and every different character whenever you want. But it is very, very not user friendly because it's like coming into a show 7 seasons in and asking people who are these characters. So it took me a while to figure out kind of who's who, what's everybody's character like, what they're trying to do. Because the fascinating thing about these role players as well is that they're not always trying to be like, do things that'll make them happy. So my favorite streamer to watch right now is Moon, right? Who was a former like full-time Overwatch streamer. And he plays a rapper called Young Dab. And he has a character sheet that he references constantly on Young Dab's strengths, weaknesses, character traits, where he'd be like, all right, Young Dab is very naive, he's very loving, but he's super selfish, so you'll always constantly see him fuck up. Like every other day he's going to jail because he tried to rob a jewelry store but gets caught. He's constantly gambling, and so he's always out of money, he's always broke. His nickname's Young Debt. So that's been the nice thing, is they're not always trying to make it like they're not all trying to play protagonists. They're not all trying to be like, get a happy ending.
Live their lives, man.
Yeah, they're living their lives in an over exaggerated, realistic manner, and it's just been entertaining to watch. And some of the best role players are the cops on the servers, because they do a fantastic fucking job. They have like proper, they know the codes, they know the procedures, they know when they arrest somebody, they read them their rights. But what boggles me is that what confuses me is that some of them play actual cops in real life. So like I really don't understand.
Holy shit.
No, it's awesome, and I'm not trying to take anything, like we're not starting any kind of discussion here. I'm just like from a like a 24-hour, like kind of like your day-to-day kind of thing. Like it just confuses me that you play a cop, like you are a cop in real life, you do that 8 hours a day, then you come home and to relax and unwind, you play a cop more, right? And I feel like the only reason they would do that is because playing a cop in VR, in role play, is there's no risk. You don't have to constantly worry about your safety or anything. You can go out there and do your job. Like the chances are, like you probably enjoy being a cop, which is why you're role playing a cop, and so you get to go and just kind of like be a cop without having to like do anything to anybody or have anything done to you. And that's the only thing I can think of.
I feel like it would be also more considerably risky, especially in GTA, where the original grounds were it's okay to be immoral. You can do some fucked up shit. You get bored one day, you try to get 5 stars and send the tanks in, and then you die and you start from the hospital. So the idea
Oh,
that
yeah,
you're trying to live in this chaotic city.
yeah, so with the role play servers, there are very strict rules a lot of the times, and the people who own these servers and do a lot of the actual coding, they set up a bunch of rules that the government has established. So like, there's a server that I played on, where you could not take any vehicle off road unless they were an off road vehicle. Otherwise, that's a bannable offense or a jailable offense, I believe. And so they are very strict about enforcing some of these rules on these servers because they want to keep that immersion intact. And so me and my friend Dustin joined a server, and I hope the audio listeners are going to enjoy this. But I played a fresh off the boat Indian cab driver, who because I'm like, it's my first time properly RPing, so might as well play.
Might as well play natural, huh?
No, exactly, right? So why should I sit and struggle with a character that I might not be familiar with or like character traits when I can just talk like this all the time and then pretend that I came to America to find a beautiful American wife and just try to live a good life?
You had
And
two options. It was either a cab driver or a 7-Eleven manager, and you fucking took
or like tech support.
Or tech support. I mean, if you did that, you didn't have to. I feel like you'd be like premium tech support if you're going to be over.
This is allowed. Okay, this is allowed. I'm Indian. I can do this. But beyond that, it's exhausting, Tyler. Honestly, RP, especially at this level.
I feel like that's a Disney song. It's exhausting.
Just because you have to be in character all the time, and when you establish your character in a certain way, it's very easy when something happens to devolve back into your natural way of normal way of reacting to things. And I have to stop myself from doing that, right? Like my character is very traditional, comes from like a small like rural village, and so he doesn't really swear a lot, doesn't really like he's not used to the amount of skin that American women show, shit like that, right? And but then when we get like hit by a car, I'll be like, oh fuck. And so I'm like, no, I can't say that. I can like then I'd have to play it off and be like, I'm terribly sorry for using such language, sir. It was unbecoming of me. Shit like that,
So, how does money transaction work in this game? Is there any actual money transactions like between players and whatnot?
It depends on the server rules, and the jobs. So like the server we joined, you can sign up for they have a list of jobs, and every so often you'll get a little bit of money deposited into your account. And that'll just sort of help you start off, right? And I believe a lot of servers do have a little bit of money that they give you so that you can start off.
I'm just saying, Rockstar, when you play their online, give you like $1 billion right now in startup cash. So I mean, just saying. Maybe official is the way to go. I'm full of shit, Nick. Go ahead and keep going.
Yeah, no, it's just so in terms of between players, this is where it comes down to like real life, like RP, right? They a lot of the server rules, they have like a list, like they have Google Docs, they have Discord forums where they have all their rules posted, and a lot of them is like, well, pay like imagine you were in real life, like do the RP, pay people, give them the money and stuff like that. And then when you don't get money, you're in debt. And then so if you're in debt with the wrong people, you're gonna be constantly running around afraid because they're probably part of the gang or they're cooking meth. It's it goes. It's we joined a fantastic starter server, and I'm excited to actually dedicate the time for it eventually.
I'm excited to see how this progresses. Please keep us updated.
I'm hopefully, I haven't tested it out yet, but hopefully I'd be able to stream it, and I'll be back to streaming properly in a few weeks. Because I've needed something that's not a shooter, or like at least constantly playing a shooter. I just need a break, and so this has been really nice because the game's is at the lowest it's ever been, thanks to all the big streamers bringing a lot of light and popularity, and like bringing GTA 5 back a little bit in terms of popularity. Like the online population has been very active. It's not like they've been dead, but it's gotten a bit of a bit of fresh air. But yeah, that's me, Tyler.
That's awesome. That is the games we've been playing this week. Holy shit.
Yeah, like
Still being mind boggled by VR over here. Just looking around.
I've noticed. I've noticed. I'm just happy to show some sort of um transition, some sort of variety in the games that I've been playing.
Yeah, I mean that's a hell of a jump for you. I'm
Yeah.
really glad that you tried something new. I mean, to be fair, I kept playing, Terraria, and then it's like, oh, Ocarina of Time randomizer, and then I
Right.
jumped into that. I almost, and I might scare a lot of people when I said this, including my wife. I almost got back into the RuneScape, but then I realized
Right.
that I would have. It's like, oh, the last thing I was doing was smithing. And it's like, oh, I got to cast super heat on this item, 28 times, pull from the bank and do that again, and then do that for about 40 hours. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. I got better things to do and talk about how I get 99 smithing on RuneScape. Like, you know what's the nice thing, Nick?
What?
I could fucking lie. I got 99 smithing in RuneScape, guys. It's not
Nice, Tyler. Good job.
And thank you. And I'm gonna stop playing RuneScape. I spent a lot of time on it. It took a lot of effort, and I have no one to show it off to. I'll just if somebody were to ask for proof, I would just Google Smith and Cape and just send you a screenshot of that, and then just put my name in. Honestly, it does not fucking matter. And so I realized there was no joy out of doing that. I have no use for smithing if I were to play that game seriously. I just wanted, the get a number up to 99, and that was the one I was working on, which explains why I quit. So
right.
I put that to the side.
So in terms of games over the next few months, me and Tyler talked about this. We're still in discussion about it, whether it'll happen. But with Borderlands 3 being announced, I do want to give Borderlands another go because it just never pulled me in the first time. And I want to see whether it was the period of my life where I played that game that didn't pull me in, or whether it was the game itself. Not that I have anything against the game. I can appreciate how insane crazy the game's been. Sorry?
I said I have so much against that game. It's not worth it, man. Jump the ship.
Which is fine, but you'd be like one man swimming against a million people.
I mean, right now, if everything what you're saying is true, people are not too happy with Borderlands at the moment. So
no, which is a good segue into our topic of the show, modular segment. But it's not that people are unhappy with Borderlands; it's just people are. This is where I over exaggerate and I'm just mean spirited for no reason. But people are stupid, Tyler.
People are stupid. No, I think you might be, as you say, a little over exaggerating.
But sincerely, all right. So the topic of the show is the competition that Epic is bringing to Steam. So with Borderlands 3 being announced, a week ago. With Borderlands 3 being announced a week ago. No, I just lost my train of thought. And they shortly after the announcement, they announced that Epic has bought exclusive rights to sell the game on their store till next year sometime. And a lot of people aren't happy about it. Like a lot of people were not happy about it. So much so that to show their disdain for such a move, for this business decision, thousands of people left negative reviews on Borderlands 2, I believe, to give it a overall not so great review, which I don't think is right. Tyler, can I ask you for how you feel about this?
It's weird because
okay, not specifically about Borderlands, but like the exclusivity of games on different platforms.
I would like to do some clarification for people who might have heard this from other sources. I've heard from some people that the exclusivity deal was for 1 year. And, people are like, I got to wait. Well, it says right here that it's going to be for 6 months. So I'm not sure if that is accurate.
I think 1 year because we're so early, technically still so early in 2019. And when they said it's going to last till 2020, despite the game not coming out until September, I think people are just,
so for Epic people, they would have to wait 6 months. Whereas right now, for Steam people, they would have to wait a whole year from now.
Yep, pretty much.
it just sounds like it's kind of misconstruing for the people who aren't on the top over that, because that detail is often very quiet. But damn man, if I had my favorite game and it was on Epic, I mean,
okay. And Brendan did leave us some comments about this, but let's not talk about the UI or the Epic Store as a software and how good it is. Let's just first talk about having exclusivity, exclusive games on different stores. How does that sit with you?
Nick, it's not 1-to-1, but when I heard about Breath of the Wild, we were excited for it to come out for the Wii U. And it did come out for the Wii U. It eventually did. However, there was going to be a clearly better way to get that. In order to do that, we're going to have to jump on a completely different platform that may or may not bomb completely, known as the Nintendo NX, which eventually became known as the Nintendo Switch. And it was frustrating because I told myself, I'm not going to get that NX thing. I just want to play Breath of the Wild. Let's get on the Wii U. And I had to really, push myself. If this is a game that people are that excited to play, Nick, I don't think it matters whether or not, the platform that's going to be on. That being said, we do have special snowflakes on the internet that have to have it their way because they think the whole world is Burger King. And wait, do you have Burger King in Canada? Asking for a friend?
Yes.
Thank goodness there is a God.
Garbage.
The fuck you
I
just
will not take that back. Burger King is garbage.
It only costs $125 for me to refund my entire plane ticket.
You won't do it.
Wow, we're having dead silence. Nick,
I'll take you to Burger King. You can get some food from Burger King. I refuse to get food from Burger King because I think Burger King is ass.
okay, we're gonna put Borderlands 3. I'm gonna put a little pin in it. I'm gonna scoot it to the side of my virtual reality thing. Nick, what do you have against Burger King?
I have a thing against most fast food places in North America because back home, Burger King would kick Middle Eastern Burger King kicks North American Burger King's ass. The burgers are bigger. The burgers taste better. The only complaint would be that you wouldn't be able to get actual bacon, but that's nothing in comparison to the fact that the Burger King burgers here are small. The sauces are ass. The only thing good at Burger King is the chicken fries, and most of the time they're overdone too.
Okay, so I'm gonna take Borderlands 3 and scoot it back in. All right, so Borderlands 3. I don't have a rebuttal for that. That's your opinion, man.
Listen,
I'm listening.
when it comes to food, my standards are pretty low usually. And
this chair.
As long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't care what you eat. And I have an opinion, and I'm an asshole, and my opinions don't matter. But I think most fast food here is very low quality for the stuff that I'm used to and that I grew up on. And I wish I could explain that in a way that was more feasible, but I can't bring any fast food back with me. Because like, for example, like you go to McDonald's here and you just feel like ass after eating McDonald's because of how greasy and you're not sure what exactly you ate because of like mystery meat. Back home, there are just standard universal health laws, or health and safety food hygiene standards, where if you don't follow it, you're getting a fine and you're shut down. Whereas in North America, as far as I understand, there are different levels and you just have to meet a minimum standard. And because a lot of these are franchises, quality is not the same across all branches. And so I've never had a fantastic experience with Burger King here, but back home, their Texas barbecue smokehouse burger is fucking fire.
Nice. Good deal. Also, fun fact, over in our region for McDonald's, they are now using fresh patties for the quarter pounders. Apparently, they didn't say for anything else. So I guess, only the quarter pounders are fresh beef now. But
that's a Monka S.
Is that I don't what the fuck is a Maka S? Is that good? Is that bad?
It's a Twitch emote through one of the chat extensions,
Okay.
BTTV. And it's basically Pepe the Frog and just sweating. So like
That's
um,
spoopy, I guess. Spooky, that's scary. That
like it's like
oh
if you say
my.
something, it's like no, if you say something, the cops show up. It's kind of like you're sweating. You're nervous, you're anxious.
Ah, okay.
So
You always say Monka S, and I'm like, what
yeah, it's habit now because I just like that's what we tell. Like if you're playing a horror game and you're walking down a dark hallway and then you hear like a loud bang behind you, that's a Monka S.
that explains a lot because when I watch somebody playing, I'm going to bring Ocarina. I'm going to
No,
put a
that's fine. That's
pin
fine.
back in the Borderlands theory and move it right back out. Ocarina of Time randomizer, when people are streaming it, they'll just walk into like a normal tunnel or something. All of a sudden, it starts playing the final theme for Ganon, and everybody starts Monka S-ing because it sounds
That's
like this
yep.
deathly. Okay, I learned something. Monka
Yeah.
S.
Yep.
Cool. So
Um.
there's two pins now in this Borderlands 3 topic. I'm gonna pull both of them out. I'm gonna move them back in. I don't have my PlayStation Move controller, so I gotta move it with my hand, not with the controller.
That's okay. That's okay.
Nick, let's talk about Borderlands 3. What's going on here?
So it's not specifically Borderlands 3 or like Borderlands 3 is just what started this discussion. So where we last left it, I asked you what you just thought in general about exclusivity, and I want to remind people that games have been on fucking different exclusive consoles. And a lot of people, when they're arguing online, which is not the place you should be doing it anyways, seem to be forgetting that. Where if you wanted to play a particular game, you had to pay at the very least a few $100s to be able to play that game with not even forgetting the fact that you had to pay for the actual game itself, right? Because it was on a completely different system. And now we come here where you have free softwares that you can download to get different games.
Right.
And so that's one argument on my end. Um, where it's just you're just downloading free software. Sure, it's taking up space. I can understand that. And Brandon, I believe, let me just read through his comments here. He just doesn't like using the Epic launcher because I agree it is a very janky sort of launcher. It's not very user friendly. It was very confusing when they first updated it to like its current state.
Right.
I prefer Steam because Steam, maybe because I'm older, it has that old school like pre 2005 kind of look, and it makes sense to
It
navigate
was
and use.
there when you had your first child
Right.
program.
But then you also have to think about Steam has been around since 2003. Competition is good in any shape or form. Competition is very good, and Epic has surpassed what anybody thought anybody could do. Like within such a short amount of time, the amount of money they generated, the fact that they're able to launch their own store with exclusive rights in such a short period of time. Um, I I'm all for Epic doing what they do, and I also can't blame developers going to Epic because they get to keep more money.
That is true. I mean, especially for start. I mean, this isn't like a startup developing team. This is fucking Gearbox, which their latest discussion on the news has been weird enough already, involving Mr. Magician leaving, pouring its magic on a flash drive at a medieval times. But that's whatever. I wonder, Nick.
Yeah.
Let's. Some reason this thought stuck to me in my head. Let's say like a year or two before Steam came out, there was something similar that did the same thing, except instead of being commercialized, it was like a free license to post your game here, and it was a platform almost like Linux style. And
Right.
for all I know, maybe this exists. I know there is a competitive, competitive is such a loose term, like itch.io kind of stuff, where you could have your own store where people could post their game on there through PC, and there was little to no money taken away.
Right.
Like it was a free enterprise before it got commercialized. Do you think Steam would have overran it when it came out, or do you feel like the way games are being pushed out on the PC would be different? Just a free marketplace at this point.
No, because Steam offered so much more. It offered security. It offered security in terms of refunds, buyers protection, helping
True.
protect the company. It provided forums, a place for people to talk about it for free, right? Like really, it's the only place Steam is making money is when the games are being sold, right? It's facilitating cloud saves, being able to like have log into the same account on multiple platform on multiple devices and download your games there without having going through a whole process, right? Because it has all your login information stored through a centralized place. And also Valve was running off a lot of hype at the time, based on the games they made, and so they had the capital to be able to smother any competition.
True. And none of this is really at the expense of the customer. We don't got to pay anything to use Steam.
No, exactly. You
The
don't have to
people
pay
have
anything
to
to
pay
use
the
Steam,
developers. So
to use Origin, to use the Epic launcher, to use Uplay. You don't have to pay anything to use all of them. But I hate the way Origin is. It's very janky. It's not properly optimized. I hate the way Uplay is, but Uplay is in terms of using is not that bad. I just don't like having that many launchers, which is the only valid, slightly valid point that I can see anybody making. But it's not like it's doing any harm. And Epic is also just very janky. I don't like it.
just a heads up, people who have Uplay points, points you get for purchasing Ubisoft games and whatnot, they're actually starting to expire. There's a possible potential use for Uplay points in the future that Ubisoft has not discussed yet, but they realize that they don't want people to have thousands upon thousands of points. They're just sitting there for years. That maybe they're going to start to push it towards discounts on games or something like that. So.
Right.
Start checking your points and see if they expire soon, because that is going to be rolling out starting very soon. I believe might have been this week, if not, more recently.
Right. So with the whole Borderlands 3 thing, I just think
Yes,
it's
back to
unethical.
Borderlands, the third
I,
pin.
I just think it's unethical that people are so upset about having to download a free launcher to play a game that they love. It's like I can understand if people are upset that like let's take Destiny as an example. With the whole PlayStation, the Sony and Activision deal, Destiny 2, Destiny 1, there were a lot of weapons that were only available on the PlayStation, despite PlayStation, Xbox, and PC paying the same price, and we'd only get it about a year and a half later. That's a valid reason to be upset.
Question:
Yes.
when it comes to let's use Epic Launcher and Fortnite as an example.
Yeah.
Can I put a Fortnite shortcut on my desktop?
Honestly, I don't know. I've never tried. I couldn't answer that question.
Okay. Let's say hypothetically, then yes, you could. If I could just have Borderlands 3 as a shortcut on my desktop, and it opens up the Epic launcher automatically and then launches the game, I don't see the problem then. That solves that problem. It's like, yes, you got to install Epic. Oh no, then it just sits in the background for all of eternity for you to not notice, hopefully.
Yeah, no, that's my point. It's like people complaining that they have to go to different stores to buy clothes. It's like
That's forbidden. I only go to Goodwill and Goodwill only. Thank you very much,
it doesn't
sir.
cost you anything to walk into the store. You don't have to buy anything.
But the cost is
It's a strip mall, right? It doesn't cost you anything to go from store
okay.
to store.
It's a strip mall here.
Right?
If Amazon has virtual reality, I could just
I really don't understand why people are so upset. Like the only way I can understand it, as Brandon said, and I mentioned it again several times, is purely a user experience point of view. But beyond that, just the fact that you have to open up a different software to run your favorite game boggles my mind, especially because I'm guaranteed that people will be so upset that they're willing to wait the 6 months and refuse to play their favorite game series of all time just because it's not on Steam. I'm guaranteed there are going to be people like that.
Yeah.
Which is stupid because all you have to do is spend 5 minutes of your time to download a different launcher, pay the money, and get your game on a different platform.
Now, I wonder, could being on a different launcher cause effects on future DLC or expansions? Do we know the time it takes for something to get greenlit on Epic versus Steam?
No, but I would imagine from a development point of view, once it's out, it's out. and so you have to standardize it across all platforms. For example, within the 6 months that it takes for Borderlands to come onto Steam, let's say there's already a DLC for Borderlands 3 and it's already out in Epic, so when it does launch for Steam, it should come with all the, with all the options. And so if it's already on Steam and Epic, and so when there's a DLC that comes out, it should launch for all platforms. Right? It's that's never happened with any major game, as far as I'm concerned, where it's on multiple platforms and there's a DLC. It only comes out on one. The only thing I can think of is, I believe, Monster Hunter World, where
Minecraft.
Minecraft, I'm not from. We'll get to Minecraft in a minute. I'm not familiar with that, but with Monster Hunter World, it's come out on the consoles. The latest DLC, it's going to come out on the consoles soon, but it's going to be a few months until it comes out on PC. And I believe that's purely an optimization development process thing, because they're not so used to making their games for PC, right? Not because of some sort of exclusive business deal. So you're mentioning Minecraft.
To go into further detail, Minecraft and for me more personally, Terraria. They are out on almost every single platform you can think of: console, handheld, PC, and all that stuff. But they have different varying patches that go to different consoles. Like, for example, there was a big update that's happening, I believe, for the PC version. But I'm gonna take a guess and say PlayStation 4 and the Switch versions probably won't see that.
I think there it's more of a development thing, because if you don't build your game and this is pure speculation. I know nothing, next to nothing, about video game development in terms of code. But if you don't build your game in a universal way across all different platforms, then you have different builds of your games. If you build for PC and now you want to put your game out on console, but it'll be too time consuming to just sort of like copy paste this, so you have to build like a different build so that it can come out on the consoles, and so you have to patch things and change things differently as time goes on. And that's the only thing I can think of, because Stardew Valley is like that too. The PC fixes come sooner than the console fixes.
That is fair. Also, fun fact: this past week, I believe, Mojang, is it Mojang or Mojang?
Mojang.
Okay, I always called it Mojang, but that's
Mojang sounds cooler, TBH.
Yeah, well, to be honest, to translate for the older audience. Fun fact: they updated. Do you know how when you start Minecraft, they have like random slogans at the top?
Sure.
They officially took the name Notch out of them. They realized that they no longer want to be associated with Notch, who's apparently been a naughty boy and saying a lot of raunchy shit on social media and all that stuff, and has been displaying some less than desirable behavior. And Microsoft, who are now the owners of Mojang and Minecraft, I hope they're the masters of themselves. They decided that they don't want to be associated with them. I believe they left him in the credits if you were to beat the game. But yeah, Notch is no longer going to be on the front of Minecraft anymore.
Unfortunate.
I mean, you say so. I mean, if you...
I know nothing about Minecraft, so that's why I'm saying a link. It just sounds like it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Honestly, I wonder what it would be like if you made a game that was so popular that you became a super billionaire, and then when you sold it off, you were so bad that they don't even want to put your name near it anymore for bad press. I mean, at that point, I feel like I would have so much money I wouldn't care anymore. But I suppose I would, yeah, I'm gonna say it's like, you can call it whatever you want. It's yours. You can call it Notch's ass simulator at this point. Sure. Nothing but brown.
That's the whole Steam competition argument that I thought people were stupid for having, even in the first place. But everybody has their opinions.
Yeah, let's summarize real quick here.
People are wrong. People are stupid for being angry.
Okay, SparkNotes version. That's okay.
Yeah. That'll get you through high school. It's a topic of the show. And Tyler, this is where you get to fly. You get to spread your wings. Nintendo VR.
Nintendo VR. It is beautiful. Hey, I'm on VR. I'm looking at this news article on VR. Wow, cool. So thank you, Tech Radar. Tech Radar, I've been kind of iffy when it comes to the quality of their articles and whatnot versus, for example, Game Informer or Kotaku or Polygon. But if they know one way to make a good clickbait article, they just got to mention VR and Zelda. So let's
I'm not
talk.
wrong, 'cause that pulled me in immediately.
Yeah, well, it sucks because for some reason my phone knew that I would be drawn to that, so it showed me a notification for the news. I don't even have notifications set up, but like I looked at my phone and a fucking hook shot just grabbed my forehead and started dragging me towards this article. So, for those who don't know, I believe on the 12th, there's going to be a new Labo kit coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Now, there's been a lot of kits that have been coming out over the past year or so, involves cool things like making a piano or a remote control bug car thing. This time, they're going to make something called VR, which, Nick, I'm full of questions tonight. Can I ask you another one, man?
Oh, for sure.
If you take a console that is handheld and you put it in cardboard and you put some lenses on it, and it has gyroscopic features, is that VR?
Yeah.
It just feels like it's so cheap for VR, man.
Well, I mean,
it's technically VR.
I mean, let's look up the definition of
virtual reality.
Reality. The virtual reality is an interactive computer-generated experience taking place within a simulated environment. It incorporates mainly auditory and visual feedback. So the fact that you're tunnel visioned into the screen and you've got auditory feedback and visual feedback, it essentially is enough to count as VR, especially because it's Breath of the Wild and the world is expansive.
Ah, damn it. Okay, I will then acquiesce to the fact that this is officially VR. This is technically going to be Nintendo's first major attempt commercially to have a VR experience. I'm trying to remember any other time where they actually do something similar to this. And I don't think there is. But yes, anyways, the VR Labo kit right now, it's going to come out on April 12th. It's going to have a bunch of cool features. And there's going to be 2 major first-party games that are going to have special bonuses added to it to help convince people. The last time I seen this with the Labo kit is they introduced a steering mechanic, cardboard like steering wheel of some sort, and you could use it to drive Mario Kart, which was apparently very awesome. In this case, though, they're gonna allow you to try this out with Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Nick. So nice. maybe this is gonna be the push where instead of focusing on the horrific, terrors that is your everyday life trying to improve yourself and getting a degree, maybe you can escape to virtual reality and then just play Breath of the Wild this way.
Oh, Tyler, you're so funny. But,
I try.
This is a no-brainer, honestly, and it's a good place to experiment. They took the Labo, which I'm not a Nintendo junkie. But I thought the Labo was a cool, unique way of incorporating some sort of physical dexterity, imagination, and video games together for children, right? For like, it seemed like a good at-home kind of like age-appropriate, current modern like era appropriate kind of technology, putting aside the price tag. And now they have the Labo, and they have their first-party titles, and you have the Switch. Why not take a risk and put those two together? They're all making you enough money anyways, so it's not like you're developing anything you're not developing anything new, so you're not losing money in an extensive development process. So what's the harm in putting these two together and see where it works out? And if it has ground to stand on, if it has place to grow, if you see potential, you can incorporate this into your other games moving forward right from the get-go in the development process.
And from the Breath of the Wild perspective, this is actually a pretty genius move because we have gyroscopic camera controls already.
Yep.
Especially with like the arrow aiming system and all that stuff. So all they had to do is apply a small update to where your gyroscopic is technically active, not just when you're holding an arrow and whatnot. So this isn't exactly difficult for them to do. Super Mario Odyssey is a little bit different. Also, to clarify, Super Mario Odyssey is going to have like special mini levels and puzzles that you can play while in this virtual reality form, whereas Zelda is simply going to have it set to where your camera is actively controlled by your gyroscopic controls. I do want to warn, and I realized this last night, and this is what made my stayed my hand from buying this immediately when I discovered the truth about this is this sounds amazing, but the VR kit is essentially a submarine periscope. Like you are going to have to use controllers that are currently hooked into the Switch. The Switch itself does not natively have gyroscopic or any kind of mechanics inside the console itself. So you're going to have to put Joy-Cons into the thing, put this bad boy up to your eyes, and then hold it there. There's no strap holding it in place. And then you're going to have to play with your hands next to your ears. Nick,
so like I was saying, this purely seems like an experiment from Nintendo. They're not really losing any money by announcing this and like putting this in the process and putting it out. It's like, all right, here's a stupid, silly thing to do while you look stupid at home. If you like it, we'll make more, and we'll actually make a better headset.
I don't even think that you have to like buy like a special app or put a special thing in Breath of the Wild saying, hey, I bought the lab kit, so I want to use it now. It's actually just an option in the game once it gets updated. And so honestly, I don't see any difference beyond just taking the your Nintendo Switch, putting it really close to your eyes, and then just moving around and playing it like that. Maybe there'll be special mechanics because this little headset that you'll make, it has a super high quality cardboard and some lenses. Maybe it'll do side by side view to help clarify that. But this is $40 for a piece that just holds something in place, I guess. The Switch, even though you're holding the Switch already.
Yeah, no, I will agree with what you said earlier about it being cheaply made VR. But again, I'll reiterate for the third time, it's an experiment. And we'll just have to wait and see how it goes in terms of sales, whether there's any actual interest, because you're never gonna get anywhere without actually doing the things that you have ideas for, right? You're not gonna know until you actually put it out there, no matter how poor quality it is. You're just making a connection for these two different things that you have to meet, see if there's any actual genuine interest, and if there's enough interest, you can actually put effort into producing a proper like headset with a strap, and allow users to be in a situation where they didn't have to hold a fucking thing to their head.
It's just upsetting, Nick.
I would imagine I would imagine like for the people who really care for Nintendo products and the things that they do, that it just seems like there's no effort going into this.
I mean, I'm sure there is. It's just this is the kind of project that's supposed to spark innovation and all that stuff, but I feel like it's set up in such a way that it's just it's still focused on the idea of making money off of this. It's $40 American US dollars anyways. I'm not sure. So that's like 300 Canadian,
probably
something like that.
Oh, you're screwed.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to buy anything over there. Like they're going to say like that'll be $5. They won't say Canada bucks. It will be like that's $5. Like wow, that's like a quarter over here in the States. That's great. But yeah, I'm glad that you're using this as an experimental example, and I'm sure there's going to be some diehard fans that are going to try this. I feel like the ones that have too high expectations are going to slaughter this worse than the whole Borderlands 3 situation. But as long as the right people come in with the right amount of reservations on how this is going to work, they'll see for what it is. As you said, for the third and hopefully now the fourth time, an experiment. It'll be fun, something to test it out.
All right, so that's we got through a lot. That's the Steam shit, Nintendo VR.
I do want to add one last thing, if I could, please.
Oh, for sure.
The VR kit will be coming out on April 12th, but you won't be able to use the VR support for these games until April 25th. So that is 2 weeks for you to get your hands on the VR kit, or rather let somebody else get their hands on it and tell you whether or not it's worth giving a shot or not. And then after 2 weeks, the game will allow you to give it a shot. So,
right. Well, so I wouldn't be surprised that there's many more games over the next few months slated for VR updates. Because I would imagine Mario Kart seems like the obvious choice.
I wonder how that would work.
Or
I
Super
mean,
Smash Brothers. Imagine playing Super Smash Brothers in first person.
Submarine Super Smash Brothers. Super Submarine Brothers. There we go.
Nice save. All right. Let's go through game releases.
Sure. Let's hit it up. Let's see. How do you want to do this, Nick?
I don't know. Why don't you take the first four and I'll close the last four, unless you want to take the last four because you've bolded some of these and I assume you want to talk about them.
Absolutely not. They were bolded when I copy and pasted them.
All right, take the first four, Tyler.
Sure. The first one is Dangerous Driving is going to come out for PS4 and Xbox One on April 9th. I'm going to take a wild guess and say this is a game about driving and it's dangerous. I have no idea what this is.
That's fine. Neither do I.
Good. I mean, if I saw like a small inkling of an advertising or talk about it, then I would know about this. But unfortunately, it's just not that cool. Sorry. That's right. I'm doing the rest of them, or the next four. Neo Atlas 1469 is one of the classic Steam to Switch titles coming out also on April 9th, where you play the role as the master of a trading company, and your aim is to complete the world map and fill the world with. That's as far as it goes before.
Where you have to click on an article and actually read. Yes.
Coming out. Geez, all the ones I'm talking about are coming out on the 9th, which I believe is Monday. No, Tuesday. These are all coming out on Tuesday. Next coming up is Shovel Knight Showdown, which I can only presume is a nice updated version of Shovel Knight. If not, actually, I feel like when it says Shovel Knight Showdown, that is this going to be a what would you think, Nick? Do you think this is a
it's a Shovel Knight BR?
VR? Okay.
VR. No, BR. No, you heard me wrong. BR. So we had the same idea.
Oh, dang. I mean, that would be cool. You play virtual reality as 100 shovels fall from the sky. Duel with up to 4 players and scramble after gems as your favorite heroic or villainous knight. Okay, so this is going to be a 4-player battle royale of sorts. And it's coming out on everything that's console or computer related. PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Mac. Wow. Good on them. And lastly, and this one actually kind of grinds my gears, Nick.
Oh, yeah, why?
The next one coming out this Tuesday is Ace Attorney Trilogy, which is the Phoenix Wright lawyer games that I really love. It's coming out Tuesday for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Nick, I really got excited playing Phoenix Wright when it came out for the 3DS because I thought that was going to be the most modern way that I could play it. And then this shit happens. So I got to decide whether or not I'm going to drop another $30 to get it on Switch or PC.
Let's be real, Tyler. You probably will.
I probably will. This is your big break if you want to give it a shot.
Man. I might. I've heard good things about it, and I believe.
I hope so. I've been speaking nothing but the truth. The gospel truth.
All right, calm down there, Tyler. Have they announced a new game coming out, a new Ace Attorney game coming out soon? Or like they're working on one?
I mean, the last I heard, I haven't heard any new Ace Attorney games coming out.
Well, I mean, it's not uncommon for Nintendo to like wait, this is not a Nintendo game, is it?
No, this is owned by Capcom.
Sorry, so it's not uncommon for a lot of games to get re-releases on different platforms and updated platforms. But I feel like for this and coming out on so many different platforms, when it was always like exclusive to like the handheld stuff, could it maybe be a foreshadowing for a new game coming out soon and they're just trying to generate interest?
When it comes to Capcom and Ace Attorney in like the past 3-4 years, they've been very quiet on the releases and they'll just drop it digital download only on the 3DS. And while those games have been bangers, like, oh man, the latest one I believe is called Spirit of Justice, and I love the shit out of it. And not to mention the whole Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton mix up there. That was another good one.
Right.
How back to the topic though, I wonder they've been very faithful, like to a creepy extent for the 3DS versus like the Wii U or anything like that. So I wonder if this is going to be their big break, where they finally, it's now that they're going to start to show that they can play it on nearly anything.
Right.
This, I believe they did have like the original, the trilogy sold as separate games on the Wii U that you could play, which was weird, but you could do it. But I think there's some possibility here where it shows not only could they release a new game on the 3DS, which I hope they don't at this point. I don't hope they just stick with the Switch, that they can just put it everywhere.
Right. I mean, only time will tell, Tyler.
I hope so. Anyways, there's 4 more games. Nick, go ahead and take them away.
So we've got Zanki Zero, Last Beginning, coming out on PS4 and PC on April 9th as well. Zanki Zero is a survival action RPG, from what I'm reading here. It is very much a weeb game, so if you're a weeb, go get it. Then we've got Earth Defense Force Iron Rain coming out on the PS4 April 11th. So
Zanki Zero is being published by Chunsoft.
That's a familiar name. I feel like I've heard that name.
Me, I know them for Danganronpa. For you might know them for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yes. We did the whole thing a while back.
Mind you, it's being published by that, and they're being developed by Lensars, which is a company I'm not familiar with personally. So,
Earth Defense Force is a 3D action shooter where you're defending Earth from aliens, and that's really it.
Wow, that sounds familiar.
And then on the 12th of April, we've got the Nintendo Labo VR kit arriving for the Switch, as we've just discussed. And then the last item on the list here is the Konami Arcade Classics coming on the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 13th of April. But I did some digging, and it seems like it's actually coming out on the 18th of April. So there's a little bit of ambiguity with the release date, but keep an eye on that. That's coming out this month for sure.
Nick, I was kind of concerned for a second because you said Konami, and then I thought you were going to say like Arsade or something like that instead of arcade.
Yeah, no, my tongue rolled in the wrong direction.
Ooh, wow. Don't you hate it when you try to dodge a boss and you just fat roll your tongue in the wrong direction?
Pretty much all the time. It happens all the time.
It's
all
okay.
Right. this day in gaming, April 8th, which is the Monday when this episode will come out, and you'll be listening to our I can't speak today. Our sweet, beautiful, dulcety, voicey, bassy tones, or whatever.
But not enjoy the fact that I've done this entire podcast in virtual reality, which is really sad for you guys. You really maybe you should listen to the podcast in virtual reality. Just stare forward at the music player or something.
Just close your eyes, dude, or just get your phone, put up the podcast on YouTube, and tape it to your head.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Starting off, we've got Titanfall that came out this day in gaming, April 8th on the Xbox 360 in 2014.
Now, this is weird because it had come out like, I believe in May of 2014 for the Xbox One, but they released it later on the 360, just like, hey, maybe we should try to make more money with the old audience, huh? We'll give you a downgraded version of Titanfall. So let's figure, have a little laugh. This is when it came out.
And then we've got Assassin's Creed, the Director's Cut edition, came out on Steam in 2008. I really liked Assassin's Creed, the first one.
It stinks because I missed the boat, but then I tried to get on it, and I found a disc for Assassin's Creed for the PlayStation 3 for $2. I jumped on it. It was like, nice. It turns out, though, the reason why it was $2, it was so scratched that it kept disconnecting the game because it couldn't read the disc anymore. And so my experience with Assassin's Creed, which is no fault of Ubisoft, was me trying to play, and then 20 minutes in, I just couldn't play anymore. I had to restart the game and rubbing alcohol. It's so weird, Nick, knowing that there are Blu-ray games out there that weren't perfect because people are joking about how Blu-ray discs were indestructible at a certain point. It's like, they'll never get scratched up.
Right.
Ever, Nick. Ever. I could take a sledgehammer to this thing and it would still read it.
Technically, it wouldn't get scratched up. It would probably be broken, but it wouldn't put a single scratch on it.
You can still take a nice butter knife to a Blu-ray disc and scratch it up. It's much more durable than a CD, but it's just the way that we had that picture in our head, like, Blu-ray discs are invincible. It is.
Well, I mean, we have the same thing with that old like Nokia phone, the 3310.
Yeah.
And then I recently watched a video where somebody supercharged it, where they ran 1,000,000 volts through the battery. Tyler, 1,000,000 volts through the battery, and you could see like electric discharge coming from the casing of the actual phone, like it was bright blue, and so you could see the battery meter go all the way up, and then the phone just shut off. And then after he was done, like when he turned off the power, he took out the phone from where it was standing and turned it on, and it powered up. Tyler, the fucking thing powered up.
Jesus Christ, how horrifying! Oh my god! I thought you were gonna like tell me that it killed the man and then the phone turned on or something. Like the phone
No,
has.
but how the fuck do you run 1,000,000 volts through something out of the 1900s and then it still fucking powers up?
Okay, not the 1900s.
It is
Actually,
technically
no.
the 1900s.
Okay, I got that mixed up with 19th century. You're right. You're right. Disregard me.
Tyler, do you want to take these last few games because these seem more like your territory?
Absolutely. As soon as I restart my headset, because guys, remember when I said in the beginning how the tracking on it can get kind of weird over time? I've had to reset the tracking on this since it's relying strictly on the gyroscope for me to look forward, because I slowly have to turn my head to my left about every 10-15 minutes. I had to reset the tracking on it. So take that for what you will. Try to watch a porn video that is 15 minutes or less, or prepare to have a crick in the neck. Anyways, after that, Final Fantasy Origins came out for the PlayStation 1 in 2003. Now, this throws me off because I'm pretty sure 2003. When did the PlayStation 2 come out, Nick? Do you remember the time for that?
I think around that time.
Because it's just so weird that, I mean, I'm pretty sure I have Final Fantasy Origins, which is like a collection of games. Last I remembered, but
PlayStation 2 came out in 2000.
So I don't know what's going on here with Square Enix. Why did they have Final Fantasy Origins? Because it's supposed to be a compilation of the first and second Final Fantasy game that comes out for the PlayStation. Even though this is 3 years after the PS2 came out. I have no idea. This is a question I probably would never get an answer to. Oh shit. I'm so sorry. Jesus Christ.
How fucking dare you.
I know, right? Coming out in 1994, we're going way back now, instead of 2003. Neo Geo sees Windjammers, which is, I'd like to think, a pretty big and popular game back in the heyday. I hear, when Windjammers came out or got re-released or got its sequel, people were pretty hyped, as it turns out. It's a pretty fun game. Coming out in 1988, we have two games that came out for the NES over in Japan. And the first one is Donkey Kong, baby. It makes its break from the arcade system on this day, as well as Double Dragon. So, a couple of good classics making the big jump to consoles near you. Well, if you're in Japan, it's 1988.
And if you're not in Japan, well, tough luck.
Tough luck. Sucks to be you. You could be in the future, like me right now. I'm in a virtual reality. What is this?
Looking through the list, there's really nothing else of particular note.
Go ahead, find something, Nick. I fucking dare you. Do it, loser. You won't. You won't.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Chaos Theory.
Wait, Chaos Theory?
Yeah.
Splinter Cell?
Yeah.
What country?
Worldwide.
Ooh.
2005.
Oh, shit. I fucked up.
I found something, bitch.
I've been thwarted. Oh, no. I look around and all I see is darkness because I'm in virtual reality. Whoa. I'm probably staring at my dog crate right now, but all I see is the abyss because I've been fucking loser. You've been banished to the shadow realm. Nothing personnel, kid.
No, but beyond. Midnight Club 2 got its American release in 2003 on PlayStation 2. Funnily enough, I learned a fact about the Midnight Club yesterday. Midnight Club was an actual underground racing organization in Japan.
Nice. I did not know that.
Where obviously legal street races, but they were formed on the basis, like their ultimate rule was that they would never let harm come to a civilian. And so they disbanded in the 90s or the 80s, I believe, when a civilian was killed during a race. And so they just stopped existing because they broke that rule, and they're like, all right, that's it, we're done. It was a good run.
Damn. I mean, that sucks. I mean, it's honorable, but it sucks.
I thought that was really interesting that like there's a surprising amount of games that are based on like facets of real life that a lot of people just don't realize.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, that was episode 46.
Nice. I think we did pretty good. We
are your fucking champion, and we appreciate the heck out of you. And we're gonna start wrapping up. Tyler, where can people find you online?
You can find me in virtual reality, just surfing the landscape, slowly tracking to the left 1 centimeter a minute. Or you can find me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. Am I speaking to the mic? Yeah, I am. On Twitter at 2times Tyler. Where can we find you, Nick?
You can find me on twitch.tv/LRWarrior11 or on Twitter and Instagram at LRWarrior11. You can find the show, Casual Master Quest, on Twitter at MasterQuestPod. Or you can also email us at casualmasterquest@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts, comments, concerns, hate mail, nudes. We'll take it all. We're just that desperate at this point.
Yeah, we haven't gotten one in a hot minute. So, if you want to send your spam mail our way, just forward it. It's okay. We won't judge.
At this point, any attention is nice. You can also find us on Instagram at Casual Master Quest, where the content has been on a slow roll, but it's going to be nice and hot. And you can also find us on Facebook if you just type into Facebook, Casual Master Quest. We will pop up right there, and you can hit that like, hit that follow. That helps us out because it gets us out to you, and it gives us more motivation because we enjoy doing this.
Well, I've been humbled by Nick's search of history. I've also been my galaxy brain expanded by doing this completely in virtual reality. Nick, I think this has been a hell of an episode. I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad you're back too.
I'm glad we're back together forever.
This is going to be a long week in Canada. I just imagine me going to sleep, and all of a sudden, like a movie style, your head zooms in together forever, and maybe like a lick on the ear, some creepy ass shit like that.
Ear licks are hot. Anyways, that is episode 46. I'm Nick. That is Tyler doing this episode entirely in VR.
Hell yeah.
We've had a good time. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Like, share, subscribe everywhere. You can find us wherever you want. I love you all. Be safe, and don't forget to never stop the grind.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.
And then I'm going to keep the broadcast going for the Instagram. All right. Do you want to set up a timer real quick, or?
Yeah, let me do that.
I mean, I could do it, but it'd probably be a bad idea. It'd be like the cheating mode version of Don't Stop Talking or Everybody Explodes or something. It's like I'm looking to my right. We got 30 seconds left. Ah!
All right, I'm ready. Are you?
Okay, go ahead and lead the way, and I will follow the dance as best as I can.
Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Tyler.
You're listening to Casual Master Quest episode 46. On this week, we talk about a bunch of things.
Oh, yeah. Tyler plays everything on this podcast in virtual reality.
Nick buys GTA 5 and does some RPing, and also talks about school and moving and being killed by rats.
People are getting awfully, very, very upset about Borderlands 3 getting an exclusivity deal over on Epic versus the love tradition of getting it on Steam.
And Tyler is disappointed by the fact that you'll have to put on a periscope to experience Breath of the Wild in true Nintendo-style VR.
Look, I don't need to pretend I'm a steamboat captain, or I guess a submarine captain, to see what it's like over on the virtual reality of, Breath of the Wild, okay?
All right, so that's episode 46. Find us wherever you can find podcasts.
God bless editing.